Man crates. Awesome gifts for men in real wooden crates, wrapped in a cocoon of duct tape, or housed in ammo cans that are virtually indestructible. Some gifts he'll get to assemble himself. Some gifts you'll beg him to share. And some gifts are sealed inside layers of rock-solid concrete. Gifts guys love, from grilling gear to old-school video games and more. Man crates. Awesome gifts for men.
Colin Hill got Michigan started in the first quarter with a touchdown. Gets a lot of help from some friends to power through. Michigan up 7-0. That play was set up just a few players prior. It was John O'Corn down the middle. We've got Zach Gentry for the catch. Gets Michigan inside the 15 to get them into the red zone. The Michigan defense came up big in the first quarter. It's Chase Winovich here on the sack on J.T. Barrett. Michigan was rolling early, and the good plays continues. Donovan Peoples-Jones, the true freshman, picks up this punt return here, and he had a chance to go into Michigan lore. Breaks a tackle here at the 50, breaks another tackle, cuts back inside, and he is just cutting back and forth. Watches, cuts inside here on the spin move, makes it all the way down inside the 15-yard line, but is caught from behind. Mike McCray came up big in the first quarter again. The Michigan defense was all over the place in this first quarter, and then we got a touchdown. It's John O'Corn over to Sean McCune for the TD. Michigan up 14-0, but it wouldn't last. J.T. Barrett on the scramble here. He is going to basically, folks, in the second quarter, walk into the end zone, and that is going to cut the Michigan lead from 14-0 to 14-7. And he gives a little point to the Ohio State fans. Just a few, next possession, Barrett again, over the middle. He's got Marcus Baugh for 25 yards and a touchdown, folks. Michigan was up 14-0 in this game. That lead was cut quickly in the second quarter. Ohio State ties it up with 2 straight touchdowns in the second quarter to bring the score to 14-14. I don't know what you guys think. I was really, really, really happy to see the game plan the coaching staff came out in the first quarter, but it seemed to me that they threw all of their eggs in one basket. That was getting off to a good start, and they didn't really have anything to show Ohio State once their bag of tricks was out of the bag after those first 2 touchdowns. So we go to the score of 14-14. I want to know from you guys, grade Michigan's first half performance. We got a like for an A. If you give them an A, give us a like. If it's a B, give us a heart. If you're giving them a C, let's go with a ha-ha. And then if you're angry because they gave up the 14-point lead, it's now tied at 14-all. Let's go with a angry face for D. I'm going to go with a B right now. I love that they came out with a strong game plan. I really like the fact that they opened up the offense, that John O'Corn was not playing scared. He seemed to have a plan. They had an identity in that first quarter, but then the defense did not have a plan for J.T. Barrett in the second quarter, a guy who has terrorized Michigan going back 4 years. In his 4th start against Michigan, has a chance, if they pull this one out, to go 4-0 to be the first quarterback in this rivalry, Michigan-Ohio State, to have 4 victories in it. And so I want to take a look over at the first half stats for us. So John O'Corn got off to a pretty good start, although so the back half of the second quarter, he was not that sharp. He's 9 of 16 for 63 in that touchdown. Chris Evans, 7 carries for 48 yards. Zach Gentry had a nice 25-yard catch. Finished the first half with 2 receptions for 32 yards. The real story of the day, though, is J.T. Barrett, 3 of 7 for 30 yards, but he's got 64 yards, 1 touchdown rushing, 1 touchdown passing to kind of tell you where those 2 touchdowns came from that we showed. J.K. Dobbins, they've held him in check pretty much, 6 carries, 42 yards, and then Marcus Baugh, unfortunately, got that touchdown towards the end of the first half to tie this game up. He's got 1 catch for 25 yards in this game. So that's that's where we stand in the first half. We're just a few minutes from going back here at halftime, but John O'Corn's been the story of the game from the Michigan sideline. He has not made mistakes. He did have 1 fumble on a snap that he recovered and was able to turn a potential disaster into just a short loss. And 9 of 16 is not phenomenal by any means, but he looked strong in the first quarter. You know he can do it with a game plan, and what we've got to see coming out here in the third quarter is this Michigan coaching staff doing what they did in the first quarter and not what they did in the second quarter, which is being creative, having multiple formations, giving Michigan a chance to make plays that this team can look at. And I want to talk to our producer, Lana, if we can get a chance to look back at the keys to the game from the beginning of the game. That'd be great to kind of go through these, take a look at where Michigan stands versus our keys to the game that we had talked about yesterday in Michigan Football Report and then in our pre-game preview. So the first one is Brandon Peters. Is he healthy? Is he playing? That is a big X on that one. I'm giving that one a no clearly because he is not healthy enough to get in this game. I think if he was healthy, you would have saw him play so far in this ballgame. But, John O'Korn has played good enough to keep Michigan in the game. Michigan's 14-0 lead disintegrated quickly in the second quarter, but John O'Korn has played well enough to have Michigan tied with Ohio State, a team that most people thought was going to blow them out. They're tied at 14-0 at halftime. Go to our second key of the game. The offensive line plays their game of the year. Well, I'm going to give it kind of a half X. They're not playing their game of the year, but they're certainly playing better than expected, and right now they're playing good enough to win. The running backs have performed nicely, mostly Chris Evans, who's had a heck of a game. Evans with 7 carries for 48 yards. Karan Higdon also busted off a nice run that he stepped out of bounds. Could have been a much bigger run. 6 carries for 33 yards. Khalid Hill with that 1 touchdown. He's got 6 yards, and that's pretty much it. So the 2016 first half versus OSU defense shows up. It did show up in the first quarter, but it did not show up in the second quarter. That second quarter looked identical to the first quarter of this game last year, where J.T. Barrett basically had Michigan's defenders on ice skates. They couldn't stop him. They couldn't keep with him. And J.T. Barrett was the story of the second half to get Ohio State back into this game from a 14-0 deficit back to now to a 14-all game. So the last one is, could Michigan get 175 yards rushing against this Ohio State defense? Could they protect John O'Korn and maybe some of his inefficiencies as a quarterback? And so right now, Michigan's sitting here at 84 yards rushing in the first half on 19 carries. So averaging 4.4 carries per 4.4 yards per rush. 19 carries. So they're not on pace for 175. They're on pace for about 160. If you knock out some of those first couple drives, they didn't really have what it needed, what they need to have in the for the game. They had it in the first quarter, didn't really have it in the second quarter. So that's where we're at right now. So want to hear from you guys here coming up. We're gonna do a weigh-in, then we'll show the highlights one more time before we come back to the game on Fox live from Ann Arbor, Michigan. So what will the final score be? I don't know what to expect from the second half, to be frank. I'm going to be an optimist. Just for the sake of this show, I'm going to be an optimist and say Michigan pulls this one off 24-23. Ohio State gets 3 field goals in the second half. They're not going to score another touchdown against this Don Brown defense. So I've got it as Michigan 24, Ohio State 23 as the final in Ann Arbor. Coming up here in just a few moments, we're going to be bringing you the second half. You have to switch back over to your TVs because we don't yet have the rights to this game. But going to power through the highlights one more time before we send you back to Ann Arbor. First quarter, it's Khalid Hill. Touchdown. Michigan goes up 7-0 halfway through the first quarter. That play was set up by John O'Korn's first completion of the day, a 3rd down and 9 attempt. He hit Zach Gentry across the middle, and that was a heck of a catch by Gentry. And it really got Michigan's offense going in the first quarter, gave them some confidence. The defense was the story in the first quarter. We had a sack here from Chase Winovich on J.T. Barrett on a 3rd down, which was a great play. And from this point on, folks, this is the end of the first quarter. Michigan's feeling good. End of the first quarter, they're going to punt to Donovan Peoples-Jones. Peoples-Jones is going to get it about the 50. Look how many tackles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, boom, 8. I don't know if you count that one as a tackle, but 8 tackles right there he broke. We're going to skip around here. J.T. Barrett got sacked again, but I think we're a little off in the highlights because going back to that Donovan Peoples-Jones drive, we had the touchdown. It is O'Korn to Sean McCune. Touchdown, Michigan. They're up 14-0, but unfortunately, it would not last. We're going to go to J.T. Barrett, the Michigan killer, the thorn in the side of Jim Harbaugh. He's just going to roll out nonchalantly here to the right side and walk into the end zone, folks. That was kind of a backbreaker. That was on 3rd down. Then the next possession for Ohio State, it's Barrett again, a little pump fake. He's going to hit Marcus Ball right down the seam. Michigan had nothing for this Ohio State offense in the second half. They basically did whatever they wanted, Ohio State did on offense in the second half, and we go to halftime at a 14-14 score. John O'Korn has been good but not great. Chris Evans has really been the story of the day so far for Michigan. Zach Gentry with a couple nice catches. They've held JT Barrett in check passing, but rushing, he's got 64 yards rushing, 1 touchdown, and then that rushing is opening up passes in the secondary where Marcus Baugh was able to go right down the middle for Michigan. For Ohio State, against the Michigan secondary, be wide open for a touchdown that put the score at 14-all. Before we send you back to Ann Arbor, folks, I want to give a shout out to Man Crates. Go to mancrates.com. Enough of this Black Friday mumbo jumbo. Mancrates.com. Look for the Michigan barware set. Look for anything a guy in your life might be interested in getting. It's a box of testosterone, jerky, candy, video games, all kinds of stuff, barware, whatever you need for the guy in your life. This is the way to do it. They send you to a crate with a crowbar. Your guy's got to crowbar it open, pry it open to get it going. I'm going to look over here at the game. Looks like we're getting back into it, folks. So we're going to send you off. Thanks again to Man Crates. We'll be right back here moments after this game is over. And with that, go Blue.
Man Crates. Awesome gifts for men in real wooden crates, wrapped in a cocoon of duct tape, or housed in ammo cans that are virtually indestructible. Some gifts he'll get to assemble himself. Some gifts you'll beg him to share. And some gifts are sealed inside layers of rock-solid concrete. Gifts guys love, from grilling gear to old-school video games and more. Man Crates. Awesome gifts.